सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Now the first and the last verse of the Dhyana shlokas we'll chant together. Okay? Om Pathaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Grathitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashabhyayinim Amba Tvamanusandadhami Bhagavad Gite Bhavatveshinim Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Sunvanti Divyaisthavaihi Vedai Saṅgapada-kramopanishadaihi Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavasthita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yoginaha Yasyantam Na Vidussura Suraganaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha. So, now 4 chapters we have studied. Important verses of 4 chapters. The verses which are useful for you, children. Okay, Krishna has told a lot of things in these 4 chapters. But what you will be able to understand and you will be able to use in your daily life. That is what we have talked about in the last 4 chapters. Correct? So what did Krishna say in the last chapter? He said that, look Arjuna, ultimately this knowledge of Atma, Atma-jnanam, which you have to get from a teacher, will completely remove your sorrow and your confusion. And so what did Krishna say? You have to go to a teacher. And he explained in detail, we saw yesterday in the yesterday's class, that how should a student approach the teacher. The teacher, any teacher for that matter. Not only Atma-jnana teacher, but any teacher in your school. How do you approach? Number 1, he said that you have to literally surrender yourself to the teacher and show your willingness to learn from him. How do you do that? By giving your namaskaras and respect to the Guru. And you show your humility, your humbleness, your willingness to learn from the Guru by doing namaskara to the Guru. Second thing, what did he say? You have to keep control over your body. Sit properly in one place. Okay? Don't keep moving your hands and feet. And look at the teacher. The teacher will also look at you. And keep your ears open. Let your mind be concentrating on what your teacher is telling you. So what did he say? Pranipatena and sanyatendriya. He said, what's the meaning? Keeping your body steady, sitting straight for those 40 minutes. Then what did he say? Pariprashna. What is the meaning of that? I told you. Asking relevant questions at the end of the class. Okay, that is the third thing. Fourth thing, what did he say? Only a person who has got Shraddha in the Guru and what the Guru is teaching, only such a person can really assimilate and understand what the Guru is telling. Correct? Otherwise, how will you understand? If you are all the time looking here and there, you're not listening to the Guru, you're not sitting straight, somebody is disturbing you, your neighbor is disturbing you, all that what happens? You're not able to concentrate on what Amma is telling you. Correct? Huh? Same thing. Therefore, you have to sit without getting disturbed by others and you have to sit straight. Don't look here and there. Keep your hands and feet and body without movement. And secondly, what? Shraddha should be there. Isn't it? Shraddha means what? In Kannada, we call it what? Nambike. Nambike means what? You should have the confidence and the trust that this knowledge is going to help me. And my Guru who is going to teach me this knowledge is going to help me. And if I listen to him, I am going to get this, understand this knowledge. This is how you concentrate, focus on whatever is being taught. Okay, then what did he say? Lastly, he said there should not be any samshaya. That means unnecessarily one should not doubt what the guru is trying to teach. What the teacher is trying to teach, one should not have any doubt either in the knowledge that he is teaching or the way the guru is teaching. Why? Because the guru knows how it should be taught. How does he know? He learned it from his guru and his guru learned it from his guru. Correct? So the guru knows how to teach, what to teach, how much to teach. So you should not have any doubt or samshaya. So these are the 5 or 6 points which make you the student who is capable of receiving this knowledge, understanding this knowledge, absorbing this knowledge. You understand? Therefore, these are the qualifications of a good student. These are the qualifications of a good shishya. Whatever may be the knowledge, it can be English class, it can be physics class, it can be this Gita class, it can be what Krishna is telling to Arjuna. That's why I told yesterday, have you seen how Arjuna is sitting? Krishna is talking to him. Arjuna is holding his hands, sitting, listening, looking at Krishna. He's not looking anywhere else. He's not moving his hands and feet and looking what is happening. What is happening on the two sides? Has the war already started? He's not bothered about it. He's only concentrating on what Krishna, his guru, is talking to him. Okay, so he gave the qualifications of the students. What should the student be? To absorb, to understand what the teaching is. In any branch of knowledge, it is like this, children. Okay, so when you're sitting in the class also, whatever the subject may be, you should have these, you should follow this advice given by Lord Krishna. Okay, then he said, this knowledge will make a person a wise person. And what did we call a wise person in the second chapter? Sthita prajna, correct? Yeah, sthita prajna. We call this person a sthita prajna. A sthita prajna means a wise person. How did he become wise? By understanding the Atma Jnana that Krishna was telling Arjuna, the same knowledge a wise person got from his guru. And then he became a wise person or a sthita prajna. And what did Krishna say? Once you become a sthita prajna, Arjuna, you are free from confusion and sorrow. And I said yesterday, our scriptures call this as moksha. You don't worry about this word moksha. Remember one thing, that this knowledge, when you understand Bhagavad Gita properly, what happens? You are freed from confusion and sorrow. So Lord Krishna is talking about this knowledge or Atma Jnana in the 4th chapter. Fine. But what did he say in the 3rd chapter? You remember, 3rd chapter was what? Karma Yoga chapter. Correct? And I have discussed in detail what Karma Yoga is. What is Karma Yoga? In your day-to-day life, how do you live day-to-day life? Cooperating, contributing, living a life harmoniously with the world around you, with the people around you, with all the animals and plants around you, the environment around you, isn't it? You cooperate, you live in harmony, you don't hurt any other being, you don't hurt the environment, and we called it what? How do you live? Yajna, correct. Yajna. What is this yajna? Yajna way of life means what? You live everyday life in such a way that you are contributing, you are giving something to the people, animals, plants, environment. You don't hurt anything. So what is this? Karma Yoga. And how do you do that yoga, Karma Yoga? Another aspect, what did Lord Krishna say? Do your swadharma. We talked about that, isn't it? You are a student. What is the meaning of swadharma for a student? We talked about it, isn't it? Swadharma means what? Doing what you are supposed to do properly. And what is the meaning of properly in Lord Krishna's language? He says, Karma Yoga Buddhi. What is that Karma Yoga Buddhi we talked about? He said that whatever you do, your swadharma, when you are following, do every action as if it is a worship to me. Let all your actions be as though you are worshipping me through every action of yours. And then when the phala comes, when the results of your actions come, you accept them as my prasada. You remember what we talked in the second chapter and third chapter? You remember, isn't it? Huh? That karma yoga means what? Whatever you do your swadharma with how? What should be in your mind? I'm offering this to God. And whatever comes as a result, I take it as God's prasada. So, now what happens? Lord Krishna has talked about both the things. He talked about karma also. He talked about jnanam also. That means he talked about how to do the karma also. And he talked about what is this knowledge also. So now Arjuna gets confused. Already our Arjuna is confused, isn't it? He doesn't want to fight this war. Because why? He's afraid and he doesn't want to kill those people. He feels that in this war, all my near and dear people are going to get killed. He thinks like that, correct? So he wants to run away. And what does he want to do? He wants to run away to the forest and become a sannyasi and get this knowledge. Rajadatta is telling what is he wants to go and become a sannyasi. And then Krishna has already told him how you should learn this knowledge. So Arjuna feels, hey Lord, this is not that he's telling, but this is what Arjuna feels. I have already surrendered to Krishna as my teacher. I have got Shraddha in you, Krishna, that whatever you are teaching me is the right thing. Correct? I have asked you the right questions, pariprashna, and I am sitting quietly without looking here and there and then not moving my hands and feet and looking at you and learning whatever you are telling me. Therefore, why don't I directly go to Jnanam? You teach me directly this. Already you have started teaching me. Why should I fight? Correct? If ultimately this knowledge makes me a wise man, why should I unnecessarily waste my time in fighting this war? You, my Guru, I have already found you. You are already there, you are teaching me. Now, why are you asking me to do this karma of fighting the war? So, you just teach me this, that is enough. I don't want to fight the war. He can think like that, isn't it? So, Arjuna thinks that there is a choice. He thinks that Lord Krishna is telling me to fight the war and do my swadharma like karma yoga. At the same time, Lord Krishna is telling me that, the Guru is telling me that this knowledge will make you a wise person and this knowledge will free you from what? From confusion and sorrow. Now Arjuna is now doubting, what should I do now? Both ways you are telling me, Krishna. You are telling me to do the karma. At the same time, you are telling me that you become a wise person, you will lose all the fear and everything. What should I do now? This is Arjuna's confusion. So in the 5th chapter, what Krishna is going to tell Arjuna is, look, you don't have a choice between doing your swadharma and learning this knowledge. They are like primary school and high school. So now what is, Krishna wants to say is, look, now you pass your 7th standard. Let me give you an example. Now you go to your teacher and tell him, see, I have passed 7th standard. Now directly you put me into the 9th standard. What will your teacher say? He will say, no, Rajadatta, I cannot put you directly into the 9th standard because you still have to prepare your mind with the lessons of the 8th standard. After that only you can go to the 9th standard. Correct? 8th standard is the first step, a preparatory step for you to go to the 9th standard. After completing your 8th standard, you will be in a better state of mind. You can understand the 9th standard portions very well. Even if the best teacher teaches you in the 9th standard. If you have not completed the 7th standard and 8th standard and directly go to the 9th, what will you learn? You cannot learn, because 8th standard is the first step before you go to the 9th standard. So now Krishna wants to say karma yoga is like first step. By doing karma yoga, you get the preparation to go to the next step. And jnana yoga, or this jnanam, understanding this knowledge, is the second step. It is like going from the 8th standard to the 9th standard. No direct jumping. You may be jumping the stairs. You know, when you are climbing the stairs and coming down the stairs, you may be jumping 2-3 stairs. But when you are learning in the school, any learning, you cannot skip any class. You have to go class after class. You have to go step after step. Therefore, in the 5th chapter, Lord Krishna says, Arjuna, the first step is karma, doing your swadharma. How? As a karma yogi, with the attitude of karma yoga. With that step, you will have your mind ready to receive the knowledge given in the 2nd step. And what is this knowledge? Whatever knowledge I have given you as Atma-jnanam in the 2nd chapter and in the 4th chapter. So the first verse in the 5th chapter, Arjuna is expressing his confusion. What should I do, Krishna? Should I do karma by karma yoga, fight this war as karma yoga, as you are telling me? Or should I directly become your student and learn this knowledge and become free from confusion and sorrow? Ultimately, I want that. I want to be free from confusion. I want to be free from sorrow. Please take me through the shortcut. I don't want to do karma. Take me through the shortcut directly to this knowledge. Krishna says, no shortcut possible. No shortcut. Karma first, then jnanam. Karma how? As karma yoga. Prepare your mind. Then only you are prepared for jnana yoga. So what does Arjuna ask here in this, the first verse of the 5th chapter? Arjuna uvācha sannyāsaṁ karmaṇā kṛiṣhṇa punar yogaṁ cha śhansasi yach etayor ekaṁ tanme brūhi su-niśhchitam. Hey Krishna, you are confusing me. You are telling on one hand that this knowledge that the scriptures have given and I am giving you, what is this knowledge? Atma-jnanam. What is this knowledge? What is Atma-jnanam? I have explained to you in detail, correct? As to, I am not the body, I am the Atma. This understanding. And in the 2nd session of 4th chapter, what did we study? We studied on bhai, what is Atma? Bhai, I am not the body, bhai, I am the Atma. We studied in detail. I gave you with all examples I gave you, isn't it? Now you don't have to worry too much about this Atma-jnanam. Simply understand one thing, that it is ultimately this Atma-jnanam which completely frees me from confusion and sorrow. But to go to that, I have to be prepared. But Arjuna is not understanding that. So what is he saying? You are confusing me, hey Krishna. Which of them is better? From whatever you have told me, I take that going straight shortcut to jnana yoga would be better. Why should I waste time and cause all these problems to other people and to myself? So, which is better, you tell me? What should I do? Do I have a choice? That is what Arjuna is asking. Now, entire 5th chapter, what is Lord Krishna trying to tell him? Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna, you have no choice, Arjuna. The first step is that you have to do your swadharma. What is your swadharma? Fighting this war. And how do you fight this war? As karma yoga. That means what? This war that you are fighting, this action of your fighting this war, may you consider it as my puja, as if you are worshipping me, offer it to me. And then whether you win in the war or not, whatever is the result of the war, you take it as my prasada. And every day you do all your actions like this, then you will get prepared for this knowledge. And I myself will give you this knowledge later properly. Same thing with you children now. Simply we have given you a small portion, a bird's eye view of Atma-jnana. Now it is not the time for you people to go more details into Atma-jnana. Now what is the time for you children, for you students, to do your swadharma with the karma yoga attitude and prepare your mind. After a few years, when you are prepared for it, some guru will come to you. Your Swami will only help you to understand what is this Atma-jnana. Right now, you don't have to worry about it. So, what is now Krishna's answer to Arjuna? In the 10th verse of the 5th chapter, Arjuna says, brahmaṇyādhāya karmāṇi saṅgaṁ tyaktvā karoti yach lipyate sa-pāpena padma-patram ivāmbhasā. He says, Arjuna, when you do your activities, all actions, in this case, what is Arjuna's immediate action? His immediate action is fighting the war. Correct? So, hey Arjuna, you do this action, whatever action you are supposed to do. How? Brahmaṇyādhāya means you just offer it to me. Brahmani here means Krishna is expressing himself. You know, he says Brahmani means to me. You offer whatever you are doing to me. And how? Don't feel that this is my action. The results of this action will be my results. I am doing this action. Don't think like that. You do this action as what? As an offering, as a worship, as puja to me, without thinking that this action should I do or should I not do? What will happen if I do this action, if I don't do this action? What will be the result of this action? It will be, I'll win the war or not win the war. Don't think of anything. You just fight the war to the best of your ability. And when you are fighting the war, think that you are offering this action to me. Then what happens? You will not be really affected by what happens at the end of the war. Leave the results to me. Krishna is saying, winning, losing, who is alive, who is going to die, leave it to me. Then you can do your actions very, very effectively, correct? Otherwise, if you are all the time thinking of your actions or all the time bothered about what is going to come at the end of the action as a result, you cannot concentrate, correct? When you're studying for your exams, all the time you're thinking of, will I get 80% or not? Will I get 90% or not? You go on thinking like that. And if while studying also, you go on thinking that, will this come in the paper? Will this question come in the paper? So I'll study only this. If this is coming, I'll study only this. If you start studying like that, you are not going to study properly. You're not going to be able to write the examination properly. So what should be your attitude? You study the subject fully without thinking of the examination because you want to understand the subject. Examination comes, you write whatever you can. You will be able to do better in the examination, I tell you. Don't think of this will come, that will come, this and nothing. You study the whole subject the way you have been taught and then go and sit in the examination. See how nicely you will write. You just experimented this time in this examination. That nothing will disturb you because you have done your action very well. And at that time, you must think what should be your thought. This I am studying, not for the examination's sake. Yes, I have to study, I have to write an exam. But this is meant for what? As Ishvara or as God, as worship to God, as worship to my Swami. this attitude to study. When you write the examination, how do you write? It doesn't matter what result I get. I will write to the best of my ability. This is my offering, my prayer, my worship to Swami. Then when the results come, what happens? Whatever comes, you accept it. How? As prasada of God, as prasada of Swami. So what happens? Your action becomes very enjoyable. You will love to do the action. You will not be stressed. You will not have tension, no headache while doing the action. At the same time, when the results come, no undue sorrow or no undue happiness. Understand? So he told him to do that in the 10th verse. And then he says, such a person, ultimately, he's happily there. He's a happy person. So in the 12th verse, he says, sarva-karmāṇi manasā sannyasya sukham vashi nava-dvāre pure dehi naiva kurvanna karayan. The only thing here you have to understand is when you offer all your actions, how? By your mind. How else can you offer? You have to have mentally, you have to have that thought that all this action, hey Bhagwan, I'm offering it to you as a worship. That time what happens? You remain, you are happily there, abiding in your body. Okay, you means what? You, that person inside you, the Dehi, is happy. The body is doing its work. How is it doing its work? Offering all its work to God. Therefore, you are not stressed or tensed. You are sukham vashi. You are in control of your actions. You don't get stressed by the actions at all. And what happens after this? Once you get continuously, you lead a life like this. Continuously, every day of your life, you live like a karma yogi. Every action you live by offering it to Bhagwan. Bhagwan means who? God or Swami. For you, your Swami is your Bhagavan. Correct? So you offer it to Swami. Whatever comes, accept it as Swami's prasada. Doing this, your entire school, from 6th standard, 7th standard, you have started, till you finish 10th, till you finish 12th, years together, you have done this karma yoga. What has happened automatically? Your mind has got prepared. For what? For the next step. What is the next step? Getting this knowledge which will be given by your own guru to you. Your Swami himself will give you this knowledge once you are prepared for this knowledge. Okay, then what happens? Or God will send you an appropriate guru. If you are not able to get it, if you are somewhere else, some guru will come and give you this knowledge. Why? Because you are prepared for it. Just like Lord Kṛiṣhṇa is giving this knowledge to Arjuna. Understood? Now, what happens then? This person goes to the second step, to the 9th standard. In the 8th standard was what? Karma Yoga, first step. Then he goes to the next class, the 9th standard, second step, where he gets this knowledge. And what did we say? A person who understands this knowledge of Atma, Atma-jnanam. Who is he? He is a wise person. He is a sthita prajna. How does he see the entire world around him? Kṛiṣhṇa says now, in the 18th verse, Kṛiṣhṇa says here. What does he say in the 18th verse? How does a wise person look at everything around him? So we'll just read this verse. Vidyā-vinaya-sampanne brahmaṇe gavihastini su-niśhchitam śhva-pāke cha pandita sama-darśhinaḥ. Who is a pandita? A pandita is a wise person. A pandita is a jnani. We call him a jnani. Jnani means who? A wise person. Who is a pandita? We saw sthita prajna. We called him sthita prajna. You know that. You have asked me questions about sthita prajna so many times. A wise person. The one who has the wisdom of this knowledge. The one who has the wisdom of who he is. Atma. Wisdom of Atma. The knowledge of Atma. He is called as what? He is a sthita prajna. How does he see this entire world around him? For him, everybody, everything is one and the same. He does not make any differentiation between people and other living beings. What he says is, a very well-educated boy may be there. A cow may be there. An elephant may be there. A dog may be there. A very uncultured person may be there. But then, what is the attitude of a sthita prajna? He does not judge anybody. Okay? For him, a cow is the same. Doesn't mean that he does not see the difference. But then he understands that, actually speaking, what did we say? It is one Atma in all the jivas, in all the bodies. Did we say that? When we talked about the second, in the fourth chapter, when we talked about Atma Jnana, what did we say? There are 84 lakhs of jivas with different bodies. But there is one Atma in all the bodies. Correct? So, what is the attitude of this wise person? He understands that in all the beings, in all the living beings, irrespective of what kind of bodies they have, there is this one Atma which is residing in all the jivas. So, he does not differentiate between a very good human being, a very uncultured human being, or in any of the animals, any plants, whether it is an elephant, whether it is a cow, whether it is a dog, or whether it is a very, very, a dirty person on the street when he sees, or a very, very exalted person he sees, a very great person he sees, he does not differentiate. He does not find any difference in any of them. He understands that that same Atma which is here in this body is there in all the bodies. Therefore, how does a sthita prajna or wise person conduct himself in this world? He does not have any differentiation. He does not feel somebody is superior, somebody is inferior. He does not judge anybody. He does not find any kind of a comparison between anybody. Fine? He sees everybody as the same. The difference is only in the body. But what is inside the body? What is that inside which makes a person a person? What is that Atma because of which a jiva is able to function? I gave you the electricity and the gadgets example, isn't it? With that, what does he understand? It is only one source of Atma that is there in all the living beings, and there is nothing else at all. And at this stage, it is called as a person who is a wise person. Now, if one has to be a wise person, then is there a choice now, children, between doing your karma and then knowing this knowledge? No choice. So the 5th chapter, Bhagavan Krishna says, Arjuna, you have no choice. It is not that you can choose to do your swadharma or leave it. You can choose to have this knowledge or leave it. No, it doesn't happen that way. If you have joined a school, you have to go from class to class to class till you leave the school. Correct? You can't straight away go to the 3rd standard first, then from there you go to the 5th standard, from there you go to 9th. You can't do that. There is no random going from one class to other. You have to go step by step by step by step. What is the reason? Because your mind is not prepared to receive any knowledge unless you go step by step. Similarly, Lord Krishna says, if you want to become a wise person, accepted, agreed that you have to get this knowledge. Agreed, Arjuna, you have surrendered to me. I am your Guru. You have full trust in me. You have no samshaya that I will give you this knowledge. But Arjuna, right now, you are not prepared for this knowledge. Your mind, your buddhi is not ready for this knowledge. You have to finish the first step of preparation. And what is the first step of preparation? You have to learn to do your swadharma as karma yoga. Understood? And not only fighting this war, in future also, whatever you do, you have to do it like this. And over a period of time, you will be in a situation or in a condition where you can understand this knowledge. I will only give you that knowledge. Now I am simply introducing this knowledge to you. Same thing you must understand, children. Now it is the time for you to do your swadharma with the karma yoga attitude. This small introduction to Jnana Yoga, which I have given you in the 4th chapter, 2nd chapter, a wise person, all these are what? They are just a seed being sown in you so that later on, when you are capable of understanding this knowledge, you will be able to remember what was taught here. So now what is the state? How should you go now? What is the first step? Be a good student. Do your duty as a student properly. And how do you do it? Offer it as a prayer, whatever you do to your Guru, to Swami, to God, and receive whatever comes out of it as prasada. By the time you finish your 10th standard and leave, your mind will be prepared to receive this knowledge which Bhagwan Krishna is talking about as Atma-jnanam. Okay, so we have taken only 3 verses in the 5th chapter because the 5th chapter is only a continuation of the 4th chapter. And in this chapter, Lord Krishna only wants to make it very clear to Arjuna that there are no shortcuts. You have to go to the first step. After that only you can go to the second step. You have no choice between doing your karma and learning this knowledge. You have to go step by step. This is what was the summary of the 5th chapter. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.